Hi, I'm Rick Nelson, technical trainer here at Norton, and today we'll talk about converting your right angle grinder from a Type 27 guard to a Type 1 cutoff wheel guard. So sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to find. So for the Type 1 guard, what you'll have to do probably is go back to the manufacturer and either email or call just to figure out what the part number is to get it. So in order to convert it, and you unlock it, it simply slides off. There's a few teeth in there. Unlock the Type 1 cutoff guard, put it on, slide it to where you want it roughly, and then lock it in place. So with the Type 27 wheel, you're using the wheel like this, and the guard is open on the bottom, so if anything happens, you're protected here, and everything should come out this way. With the Type 1, you're using the wheel like this, and with this guard, the side is open. So if that wheel were to break, it could come out and hit you or somebody else walking by. Now we'll try to mount the wheel. So the first thing you're going to do is use the two flanges that come from the manufacturer. So the back flange usually is very specific to that particular grinder, but the front flange doesn't really matter. They'll send you both with the grinder, but the front one, as long as the threads match up, you should be good to go. So if you look at the flanges up close, you'll see that it has a little bit of a shoulder in there. So when you mount the wheel onto the grinder, it sticks up a little bit. The front flange has a recess on one side and then a flange shoulder on the other. So if you mount the two flange shoulders together and tighten it up, your wheel doesn't get tight. So what you have to do is flip it over and put that shouldered side right in there with that recess, and that'll pinch your grinding wheel. The reason for the two shoulders would be when you put a thicker wheel on, you put it there, and then this one centers right over it. It gives a little bit more support and keeps that wheel centered. So when we mount our Type 1 cutoff wheel, the back side of the flange actually is cut out to fit right on the back, and it kind of locks into place so you'll know when it's on right. Put your grinding wheel on so it's sitting in the center, and then you make sure that you have that recessed side facing down. Push the lock button for the spindle in. Tighten it up, finger tight. Use your spanner wrench that comes with the grinder. Tighten it up, and you're ready to go. This wheel on this grinder would mount the same as this wheel on this grinder. The only difference between these are that each manufacturer is very specific with their own type of guard and how it goes on. So this particular one has like a thumb lock. You just unlock it, turn it to line up all the little keys, and it comes off. Where this particular one has a key pattern in there that matches what's on the grinder, and you push this button in, and on the inside here there's a little key that unlocks and lets you move it. So when you place your guard on properly, you should have your guard a little bit further out to make sure. So if you were to grind like this, if that wheel were to break and come up, it could hit your fingers. So typically you want to make sure it's set up so if anything were to happen, your hand is covered by the guard. And that would go for a Type 1 or a Type 27 guard. It doesn't matter which one. And a good rule of thumb that I learned way back when I first started here was after you tighten everything up, typically you want to spin the wheel just to make sure that it's not going to get caught on anything and that it's rotating, it's not running out, it's spinning nice and smooth. I know sometimes this information can be hard to find, so hopefully this sheds some light on some of the trickier things that can happen with a right angle grinder for some of you DIY people out there. So if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below.